Hey everybody, it's Dr. Brockenshire, and I want to introduce you to a new line of tools we've been using in the office for a little over a year now, I think. We were anxiously awaiting them, way back in 2020, so long ago. But what we've been able to do is source what we need, and we have 4 exciting new mushroom tools, mushroom products. Why mushrooms? Well, you've probably been reading about the benefits of nutritional mushrooms like shiitake, maitake, ganoderma, lion's mane, and others. If you have been on Instagram, you've probably seen people drinking their mushroom shake, their coffee replacement. Maybe they're drinking chaga, which is called a mushroom, but it's not really a mushroom. So what I want to do is spend the next few minutes explaining the intricacies of mushrooms as part of your nutritional plan and help you understand why, as mammals, we all need these things. This could turn into an hour talk. I'm going to try really hard not to do that. But I am pretty excited about these, and we've had really good results so far. If you're using my Tower of Power shake, you've already been taking these. So a couple things to remember. Let's take a look at what mushrooms really look like. So if you can remember the fall of 2021, how wet everything was, you probably remember mushrooms growing in your mulch, mushrooms growing in the grass. Yeah, those aren't the mushrooms we're talking about. Now, if you've been in the woods searching for morels, you know what we're talking about. So we now know in human nutrition, we need to get mushrooms as part of our diet. It's difficult to eat enough of the mushrooms because experts are recommending we get about 3 pounds of mushrooms a week. Now, a mushroom doesn't weigh that much. So if you are at the grocery store, put together what 3 pounds of mushrooms really looks like. It's a lot. And so this is where you lean on supplementation. Okay? There's a lot of different mushrooms out there. We're going to focus on the ones we've been using. There's some very cool things about mushrooms. So when you look at a mushroom really close, it doesn't look like anything else. It doesn't look like a herb, right? It doesn't look like a bush. That's not bark. It almost looks like it's trying to hug you, like it's a filter of some kind. It's a fascinating creature. It is a distinct phylum. So what I noticed back in October 2021, in Grand Rapids, Michigan one night, this photographer, Stacy, was out taking late night pictures, early morning pictures, trying to get some shots of the Aurora Borealis. And she noticed that the mushroom floor was glowing. So all the trees in the woods had these floors of mushrooms around them, and they were glowing. They were bioluminescent. What you're seeing is mushrooms make their own vitamin D. So when you're eating a lot of mushrooms, you're actually getting a good food source of vitamin D2, not D3. Another thing mushrooms do is they produce their own form of glutathione, which is our best antioxidant. We make it in our livers. Mushrooms make it elsewhere. And it's called ergothioneine. And you're going to see a lot of research around that going forward because mushrooms are very good at protecting themselves. And when we eat them, they protect us. The chemical that mushrooms make for vitamin D is called ergocalciferol, which is actually their form of cholesterol. Mushrooms are cool. So, our first and favorite blend is the Neuro. And if you've seen me in the last year, you've probably taken this. You just didn't know why. The way Third Planet has named their products, it's for what they're used for. So Neuro is for the nervous system. MycoRev stands for Mushroom Revolution. Now the hard part is getting good mushroom extracts. So the story here is you can't just go to the vitamin store and buy mushrooms because almost all mushrooms in the vitamin market are not real mushrooms, okay? When you make and grow mushrooms, you grow them on a starch. For example, mushrooms are living in your mulch. Well, the wood's a starch. The mushrooms that are grown for the nutritional industry are typically grown on corn or tempeh, these fermented carbohydrates. So the mushroom sprouts, and then the manufacturer takes the whole thing, corn and all, dries it and grinds it, makes a powder. So if you're buying bags of mushroom extracts from the vitamin store, you're actually buying a whole bunch of starch, very little mushroom. When you test mushrooms to see if they're real or not, you're looking for something called beta-glucan. Beta-glucan is the marker compound that's used to identify if it has mushroom extracts in it. It's also one of the markers used in immune system research. Interesting. If it has alpha-glucan, it's not mushrooms. You only find alpha-glucans in starch, whereas mushrooms only give off beta-glucans. So that's how we know most of the stuff on the market is junk, and that's why I've been very shy to use mushrooms in the past until we found a solid source of it. And so it's good to be personally involved with Third Planet. We know what they're doing, how they're doing it, where they're getting it. We know all these people. We're like one big family. Know the formulator, and they do listen to me occasionally when we have new ideas. So Neuro is primarily lion's mane. Okay, so each capsule is giving you 1 3/4 grams of lion's mane. What lion's mane does is it makes your brain sharp. It keeps the inflammation out of the brain. Helps with brain fog, helps with cognition, sleep, rest, recovery from stress, recovery from brain injury, brain inflammation from chemo, alcohol, you name it. Then we put the good turmeric in it that you're used to because that does cross the blood-brain barrier. So it helps as a delivery method. The buckwheat leaf, not seed, don't confuse this for other products, this is buckwheat leaf. The Japanese have shown that this specific fraction of buckwheat leaf enhances circulation into the brain. Okay, so that's why we use it. This is our #1 brain tool. It deflames the brain and allows the repair to happen. Because, I don't know if you know it or not, your brain can repair itself. So, to repair yourself needs energy. One of the ways to help you get energy is to de-stress. The nice thing about the next formula called Adapt, what's that for? Adaptation. Why do we get old? Because we run out of the ability to adapt. Okay, so the current thinking in anti-aging strategies is preserve your adaptogenic reserves. Help you stay vital, resilient, robust against stress. This is a rhodiola product. Rhodiola is a scrub type bush that typically grows in Siberia. The mushroom piece of this is the cordyceps. So cordyceps has been widely studied. It's quite famous. Cordyceps helps you do more with less. You could say it protects almost every aspect of your immune system. Interesting study on cancer with cordyceps is cordyceps prevented cancer cells from growing, and it also enabled the body to look for cancer cells and kill them. So cordyceps is the ultimate stress mushroom. Rhodiola, at this dosage, can help you get over yourself. So if you've ever said, I know I gotta do it, I just don't have it in me, rhodiola will help you do that. It's gotta be good rhodiola. There's good and bad rhodiola. How do you know? Well, it will be on the label. So the good stuff in the rhodiola is labeled here. At this dose, at 2 a day, you get a full researched therapeutic dose of rhodiola, which also acts as an antidepressant. So if you've been feeling low, a little bluesy, no reason to get out of bed, Adapt is for you. That's why we use it. The Tonic, this is the every little bit of all right, when you just need to feel good. This is what they're selling on Instagram in those forms of drinks. So this is a chaga formula. Now, do some research on chaga, because it is in Michigan, in the Upper Peninsula along Lake Superior. Shh, don't tell anybody. Chaga grows on birch trees. It's kind of a rotting carbuncle. It's not a true fungus, but it's close enough. And while when you take chaga, it can almost feel like you're taking coffee. Instead of the caffeine buzz that goes up, the chaga takes you up and then kind of brings you even, like a mushroom head. So chaga is your toning, feel-good mushroom extract. And then we've got the cordyceps and the lion's mane to go with it, because you know at some level it's going to impact your brain. It's nice to feel good again, okay? And that's what the Tonic, Adapt, and Neuro together will do for you. Now, thanks to what's going on in the world, the immune component. Your brain has its own immune system. That's being handled by the Neuro formula. For the rest of the brain, this is the classic, what we call the immortal blend. Shiitake, maitake, and reishi. A reishi also goes by Ganoderma. They're used interchangeably. And you'll see a lot of people advertising reishi coffee, reishi tea, reishi hot chocolate, Ganoderma coffee, tea, hot chocolate. And there's an old company called Gano Excel that tried to do this. It's all about the dosage. If you don't get enough, it's not going to work. And what we know about the microweb line is you're getting enough. So 8 to 1, 10 to 1, 16 to 1 concentrates. You're talking grams of mushrooms, okay? The nice thing about the immune is it covers all the immune bases. Now, what everybody forgets about mushrooms is we don't have to digest them. When you take them as an extract or eat them as a food, they go through the stomach into the small intestine, and as they're moving through the small intestine, the sugars that are in the mushrooms are taken up by the lymph nodes in your gut. So you don't actually assimilate them into your blood. The lymph assimilates it and distributes it through the brain, the body, the back, the liver, the kidneys, the gallbladder. This is the most efficient way to deliver signals into your immune system, is mushrooms. This is something you might want to look at taking long term. Anybody that's been doing a lot of immune boosting stuff, you're going to want to look at doing this long term. Anybody that's had a cancer scare, recovering from cancer, or knows somebody with cancer, this is the formula. If you're concerned about long-term immune issues, this is your formula. Anybody that's not getting over an infection, this is your formula. So keep that in mind. Now we're talking about synergy, this symphony of tools that nature has provided for us to use. Again, more pictures from Stacy from that fateful early morning in the woods near Grand Rapids. And you can see them glowing in the dark. They all work together to create light. The way I like to use the 4 microrev products is if you have them all, and we've said it's okay, take 2 of each every day. Okay, so that's 8 capsules once a day. You can open them up into a shake. You can mix them into some hot water if you don't want to take the capsules. After a couple months, you will notice a very apparent change in how you feel. Now, mushrooms, being a food, are designed to be used long term. So the longer you use these, the stronger you can get. And we're also discovering that mushrooms talk to our DNA. So if you're interested in fortifying your overall response to stress permanently, mushrooms are the way to go. I hope you have a better understanding of why we've recommended these to you, why we're so excited to have access to them, and more importantly, why everybody else is talking about mushrooms. But now you've got a good source, a real source, and I would encourage you to cook more with mushrooms. So enjoy your mushrooms, and if I hear any more about some new formulas, we'll let you know.